We are now almost in 2024, and something I'd been wondering for a while now is where in the world is the Assassin's Creed Netflix series? It was initially announced towards the end of 2020, and yet ever since, there's been very little information, details, or any kind of updates. You would think in 3 years there would at least be some significant news. I mean, a lot of people didn't even know this series was happening until they reminded people it was at the Assassin's Creed Celebration last year, where they unveiled all their future projects. But even since then, there's still been nothing basically. Now I'm sure the writers and actors strike didn't help, but I doubt it was even that far along in production to begin with. So what is going on with it? What's the holdup? Well, it seems Ubisoft and Netflix are just struggling to get this thing off the ground. As far as we know, it's still in the early stages of development, and there's clearly been some issues. Last year, they hired Jeb Stewart to be the showrunner for the series, a very accomplished individual. He was a writer for Die Hard and The Fugitive. He was also the showrunner for Vikings Valhalla, and was very excited to work on this Assassin's Creed series. But then he left at the start of this year due to a difference in vision. When he left, he still said he was confident the show would be great even without him, as he thinks Assassin's Creed is a terrific franchise, but considering him leaving the project is the last significant news we've gotten about the series is very concerning to say the least. When I first heard this announcement at the end of 2020, I would have figured this series would be out by now, or at least filming, and yet it seems we are nowhere close to either. Now it hasn't been cancelled, at least not officially, and I wouldn't expect it to be, because I imagine a lot of resources have already been put towards this show, and there's a lot of potential in the idea of a live-action Assassin's Creed series, but it definitely seems like it'll at least be another few years before we see it. Considering there was a difference in vision between the showrunner and the executives, this could just end up being a big mess. Adapting a video game franchise into a show is no easy task. Some have been successful, especially more so recently, but a lot have also sucked. And when you consider how the Assassin's Creed movie did, I don't have a ton of confidence in Ubisoft and Netflix's ability to make this show work, especially when there seems to be so many problems before they've actually started production. We also still have no idea what kind of show this is going to be, nor do we have any sense of the premise. The fact that Jeb Stewart was hired as the showrunner made me think it might be in the Viking theme, as he was a showrunner on a show exactly like that, but that's just a guess. I would hope it's not a Viking show. Maybe it's a story adapted directly from the games. I actually think the original game's story with Altair and Desmond could make for a very good show or movie, or this is just another new original story with a new setting and characters, similar to the Assassin's Creed movie from 2016. Personally, I'd like to see a faithful adaptation of the first game's story, but I don't feel like that's likely. If anything, it'll probably be something original, but I hope it's at least about the Assassin's Creed. Have it serve as a gateway into the series to a wider audience that hasn't played the games, which means it's gonna have to reestablish the lore and have a heavy focus on the Creed itself and the whole modern day storyline. Either way though, it's pretty safe to assume we aren't gonna see this thing anytime soon. I think there's a lot of potential in this series if it's done correctly, but seeing how it's already had this many issues and the showrunner left before it's even started production definitely seems worrisome. There's also an Assassin's Creed anime in the works for Netflix as well, which I might personally be more interested in. I mean, look what Edgerunners did for Cyberpunk 2077. An Assassin's Creed anime could go crazy under the right circumstances, but I'll make sure to update you guys if there's any significant news regarding the series, and let me know what you're hoping for from it. What kind of show would you like it to be, and how can it successfully please fans of the games while also appealing to a newer audience on Netflix? As always, if you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and considered subscribing to the channel if you're new, and other than that, thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your day, Assassins.